What is up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. So let's get back into it. Um, this is a beginner-friendly course where it discusses like what the actual fuck are stocks, like what are stocks. I break this down for you guys to understand it in basic, simple terms. Basically, if you guys don't know anything about stocks, I would suggest like going back to the videos and seeing um, like what's up with the videos. Oh, that is my stocks. Oops. But yeah, let's get into it. So last week or last time we talked about why do companies issue stocks. We discussed basically the reason why companies issue stocks is because it wants to raise money for new projects for them to make, and or just basically to expand their business. So like hypothetically speaking, right? If if a company right here, so if a company gets money from us, for example, it's like, all right, I'm gonna use this money to make another one or another business, and then those two businesses they get money together, and then they give that money right back to you guys, and then they it's like a cycle basically. Um, Now today is gonna be risk to reward, aka RR. I just had to discuss this, but let's get the Google definition just to see, what is up with this stock. I said stock with the term, excuse me. So I'm just gonna copy this, la la la, and then I'm gonna paste it here. Okay. So basically, it says, I'm gonna read the Google definition, and then obviously I'm gonna translate it for simple terms. It says risk. Oh my gosh, Jesus, I'm dyslexic. Excuse me, just give me a second. Uh, it says risk reward ratio is a formula used to measure the expected gains of a given investment against the risk of loss. Risk to reward ratio is basically expressed as a figure for the assessed risk separated by a column from the figure for a prospective reward. Um if you guys understand that, great. If you guys are like a little confused, I definitely got you. So basically, right, I'm gonna break this down real quick. So let me just space this out real quick. So it's a formula, right? So it's a type of formula, and it's used basically to measure the expected gains. Okay, so it's a formula basically to see how much you can make. And then, so this ends right here. I'm gonna just put like a slash or dash. So this is the first part. It's a formula used to measure the expected of gains. So this is the first part. It's the formula to see how much you can make versus, and then this is the second part of a given investment against the risk of loss. So this is versus how much you can lose. No, it's lose. Yeah. Um, Basically, so simple to the point. Basically, how much you can win versus how much you can lose, or how much you can make versus how much you can lose. So it's usually like a lot of people use this when they're trading, whether they're buying stocks. So like hypothetically though, I have said this before, but let's just say I was buying Apple. I don't know. I'm gonna use Apple a lot. And Apple right now it's selling at $100 per share, right? And as we discussed, share is basically the piece of the pie that they're offering, right? Or that's how much their company is. It's like $100 per share, right? Apple is selling their stuff at $100 per share, right? You're like, all right, I'll buy 10 shares. I'll buy 10 shares, and that's gonna equal to 1,000, right? Because 10 times 100 is 1,000, right? So I invest $1,000, and you put like whenever you invested it. So right now it's December. Let's just say December. You invested $1,000 in December, right? Now you wait. Let's just say you wait a year, and this is what the 2022, right? Now let's just say you wait a year, and all of a sudden December hits, and you haven't really looked at it. You just held on to it per se, and now Apple is at $200 a share, right? So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go 200 times 10, and that's obviously 2,000. And this is how much, you would have made $1,000, basically right back. So you would have gotten your whole investment. But so this is like hypothetically scenarios. I'm just throwing out scenarios, and I'm gonna break down like the risk to reward just so you guys can see it. So this is basically scenario number one, and we're gonna call this a good scenario. I'm gonna just call this good. It's just a little easier, right? Now we have scenario two, and we got a bad scenario, right? And basically, right. So we have a bad scenario, and let's just say obviously you did the same thing. You purchased 10 shares in December 2022, right? Now you wait a year, same thing. You wait a year, and it's December 2023. Well, what is this? Okay, cool. Just out of curiosity, December 2023, and now it's worth $500. So you went from basically 1,000 to $500. You know, so basically you lost half of your investment. You lost 50% of your investment. I'm gonna just put, I'll put $500 loss, which is 50%, and then this is obviously 100%, like in gains. All right. So this is like the scenarios that could happen, right? Good or bad scenarios. Something will happen, obviously. So like, how do you calculate this? Like, how do you say like, yo, like I want to control how much I want to gain versus how much I want to lose? So basically, what you're gonna do, pretty simple and to the point, is you're gonna invest. You're gonna do the $1,000, obviously in December, but you're gonna put a limit on it. So you're gonna be like, all right, I'm investing $1,000, right? Where's the mission? I'm investing in $1,000, right? How much do I want to gain? So yeah, that's gonna be the first question before you even do anything. You're gonna be like, how much do I want to gain? And you can't be greedy. You cannot be like, yo, I want to gain like 10K, 20K, 30K out of it. No, don't do that. Be realistic and say how much do you think you could gain from it. From $1,000 investment, how much do you think you could gain from it? So let's just say I'm gonna just usually the scenario would be for me if I was putting a thousand, I would probably want to make like 200, 300 right back. So I'm gonna just put 200 just to be on the safe side. So I want to get 200 out of it, right? And if you calculate that, that's 20% of like your investment, which is not bad. It's pretty good. That's 20%. And then how much do you want to lose? So basically, you want to always make sure that your your gain is more, like the percentage is higher than your loss. So realistically, on this trade, I'm gonna put 300 just because it's a little better like the scenario. Um, so the max I want to lose on this trade would be probably like 150 tops, just to be on the safer side, right? So it's out of 1,000 still. So how much? And you have to be honest with yourself, because when you're investing, you're either gonna make or you're gonna lose. Obviously, pretty much. That's basically how it goes. Um, no reason to be scared. If you have nice risk to reward management, you're chilling. So I want to lose probably $100 out of this trade. So I'm gonna just write it 100, and that's 10% of the whole investment you put in. 10% of this whole thing, which is not bad. It's a 1 to 3 ratio, and that's how you calculate it. So you just put 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. So basically, you're risking 10% to make 30%, or you're risking $100 to make $300, which is not bad. You're not gonna lose this whole investment unless you have your risk to reward, exactly how this is. So like, I would probably keep track of let's just say you put $1,000 in December. I would keep track of, like what's the progress with the stock or what's the progress with Apple. I'll be like, all right, Apple's doing good or Apple's doing bad, and then just keep track. And like, let's just say like your you see that right now $1,000, this $1,000 you put into it, it hits 1.3. So let's just say the good scenario would be it hits 1.3, right? This is the good scenario, and then this is the bad scenario, right? So when you see 1.3, you're like, okay, it's time to exit out the trade, or I already, made as much as I wanted, and now I leave. And that's what you have to do. You have to say, I made as much money as I wanted to, and now you leave. Do not be greedy. Trust me, there's gonna be a bunch of trades you could get after. Don't get greedy, and you'll be chilling. And vice versa. Let's just say the trade does not go your way, where it hits 900, so you lose $100. You're like, okay, that's fine. But some people are like, oh, what if it comes back up and I hit 1,000? Don't do that. Just get out and keep it pushing. Trust me when I tell you this. Cause then you gotta have, like, let's just say you got the trade, you gotta have $900 left to get that $100 back. You know what I mean? So you gotta get that $100 back regardless. You just have to exit out the trade and then you're chilling. Let me just make sure I went through everything. Process, roar, lose. But yeah, I would always stick to either 20. I want to win 20% and lose like 5 to 10%, or this is the scenario I would probably do. But it's very simple. It's not that hard. It's not like anything crazy math, nothing like that. You just set it up how you want it to. We call this risk tolerance, and we'll discuss this in the next one because it is getting quite long. So it's gonna be risk tolerance, and I'm not gonna say what that is yet because that's gonna be the next video. But risk tolerance is, it's very important with risk to reward. I hope you guys actually enjoy this. I use this a lot actually when I'm doing my trades and everything, so it's pretty efficient. When you guys hypothetically get into like stocks and everything like that, and you guys actually start doing it, you'll definitely see it. But hope you guys enjoy. Sorry this is pretty long. Have a good one, guys, and let's get it.